watching this at this point, I think I can get their attention.
Sax! Okay, now that I have your full undivided attention, haha, I gotcha. We may now proceed to Form 3 of this form series of videos. Now, let me put my little Harry Potter dildo wand down. Shut up! So the last video we went over Form 2, which was emaciated Mario. And now we will transition over to Form 3 of my ascension, which is Skinny Fat Mario. Now this one I am not, this one I don't like the most. Mainly because it was the longest process. Like, I'm pretty sure it only took me about 8 to 10 months to lose all the weight from Tubby Mario. Then the emaciated Mario only lasted for like 3 to 4 months. Skinny Fat Mario lasted for a year and a half to maybe 2 years. So without further ado, Skinny Fat Mario. Now, for those unaware of the terminology of what constitutes skinny fat, it's essentially somebody who has a little bit lower lean body mass and higher body fat percentage. So for men, around 18 to 20% body fat and virtually no muscle. So lanky arms, chicken legs, flail chest, most of your fat is stored in your hips and your abdominal area. Now you may look at my picture and you may think, oh Mario, yours isn't that bad. I can see some muscle and there's only a little bit of fat, it's not that bad. I hold myself to a higher standard. Also, relative to my training volume, which remember I said I was training really high volume bodybuilding splits, it's pretty pathetic. Because I was perpetually in a caloric deficit. Why? Because I still had remnants of, body dysmorphia. I was so apprehensive of gaining even a shred of body fat percentage. Or gain a little bit more weight than I anticipated. And I would get scared. I'd be like, oh my god, I'm getting fat again. Oh, I want to keep my six-pack. There was no six-pack. It was nothing was there. See, the reason why you go on these bulking and cutting cycles, for about 12 weeks you go on a bulk. It means you eat at a caloric surplus, you lift weights, and you get enough sleep, obviously. And after 12 weeks, well, you would gain as much weight as you can in those 12 weeks, and then you transition over to caloric deficit for 8 weeks, so you can cut all the body fat and reveal the Adonis-like physique you have underneath. I had none of that. So why was I in a caloric deficit the whole time when there was no muscle to show underneath? Like, what are you doing, bro? So I kept doing that for a year. I virtually went an entire year without making any type of gains. I was slowly but surely going into strength training once I get introduced to the squat, the bench, and the deadlift, and the overhead press. The problem with that is I took them at face value, so I was learning through trial and error when I was doing them. So what I should have been doing was something like starting strength or strongest 5x5, where you just focus on those movements and you worry about adding weight to the bar, so that eventually you get strong enough to be able to handle heavy weights when you go on a bodybuilding split and you have a good enough base. I didn't do that. I went straight into bodybuilding, doing really small weights for high reps and high sets and making scrub gains, okay? Also, why I didn't like this time period of my training, my knee itches so bad, what the hell? This is the time that I got injured the most. Mainly because I wasn't able to recover as much because, again, I was perpetually at a caloric deficit. And I wasn't able to recover as much. Plus, as I stated before, I was doing these movements, these compound movements, squat, bench, deadlift, through trial and error. So I had a higher likelihood of getting injured, which I did. The main thing that I got injured, my worst injury ever thus far, is my SI, my sacroiliac joint, which is essentially the lower back. It got so bad that it hurt so bad that it took me about 5 minutes just to get out of bed. And whenever I would have to go to the bathroom, my entire body would have to squat down just so I can lift up the toilet seat. I know, right? What the hell? My back hurt so bad, and it happened like twice. I was using faulty deadlift technique, over-under grip. I was doing shrugs with an over-under grip with really heavy weight. What the hell? What is wrong with me? So this was going on for about 2 years now. Now, what you guys can take away from this is do the right movements initially. Also, eat enough. You need to eat. You need to eat. That's one of my biggest gripes with my clients. They have no idea how much they need to eat because they don't factor in work, also stress levels, exercise or training, and eating and sleep. You burn a lot of calories throughout the day once you factor in exercise. Also, post-exercise oxygen consumption, but we don't need to talk about that. So, when you're first starting out, you need to eat. Don't worry about counting calories. Don't worry about any of that jazz. Especially if you're trying to gain weight or trying to gain muscle. Just strength train 3 times a week. Go on a program like Starting Strength or Strongest 5x5. Eat to your fill and get enough sleep. And eventually you'll get really, really strong. Not really strong, but relatively strong to you. I didn't do that. I didn't do any of that. I learned along the way, trial and error, after getting hurt, after reading articles, all that jazz. Now, this kept going. I went through like carb cycling. You're like, oh, I'm gonna carb cycle now. And throughout this time, I was still macro counting to the upteenth. So I was trying to catch every single macro. Obviously, that's stupid. Like, I'm never gonna 100% account for every single macronutrient. But it just, I wanted to. As you can see, it is really hot right now. You know why? You know why? Because I'm in goddamn Florida, and it's so hot out here, and I'm sweating my balls off. I got swamp nuts right now. God damn it. I'm making sacrifices here. We all gotta make sacrifices. I'm working my ass off. Sweating my ass off more so. Anyway, I'm digressing. So, this kept going and going and going, and eventually I got fed up. I was so annoyed. What I was mainly annoyed by was the fact that I couldn't eat as much as I wanted. I love food. I love food. So I was so annoyed with that I couldn't eat enough. So eventually I said, dude, fuck this. Fuck this. This is stupid. I want to eat how much I want. Not how much I want. If I would have eaten how much I want, but I would have blown up. I want to eat enough food so that I can grow. I need to grow. I just said, screw it. I need to grow. And I went straight into a caloric surplus like that. No reverse dieting whatsoever. Just went straight into caloric surplus and just went on a bodybuilding program. I didn't really, I was still learning. So, and I eventually went on to a push-pull legs program and still learning form along the way, but I was growing. Why? Because I was eating enough. You need to eat, especially if you're training. You need to eat. You need to eat enough for your physical statistics, also your exercise level, your activity level, work and exercise. So, and your like height, weight, age, and also how many times you lift per week. That's essentially what you need to do. This led on to me focusing less on hitting my macros exactly, but mostly my protein intake and calories. That's mainly what I focused on counting. Now, you may think like, oh, dude, why are you still counting calories? Why are you tracking everything? Literally, I can go back 2 or 3 years and find out what I ate on this day exactly. That's how long I've been basically tracking my food. It's habitual, okay? I like to be in control of what I eat every day, okay? So, stop, dude, you're so judgmental. What the hell? Okay? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be healthy. What the hell? So, as I said, I transitioned to finally eating enough, still training pretty hard for me, but slowly but surely, I focused on getting stronger. Because in my head I thought, if I focused on just strength, I can technically still gain muscle at the same time, right? It's not like hypertrophy, which is muscle gain, is not mutually exclusive to just, focusing on bodybuilding splits and all that stuff. You can gain muscle from strength training. So that's what I did. I said, dude, screw bodybuilding. I'm going to do a little bit of volume, but I'm going to focus on getting stronger at the squat, the bench, and the deadlift, and the overhead press, which is what I should have been doing from the beginning, but, never late than never. Better late than never. What the hell? Never late than never? That makes no sense at all. I'm a moron. So, what I should have been doing from the beginning, squat, bench, deadlift, I was still making mistakes along the way as far as form, but it was through trial and error. Also, I was reading a lot more on these lifts. I was watching, not instructional videos, but like tip videos, like, oh, if this is what's happening to you, use this to fix it. I was getting, my knowledge base was growing overall. I was finding out I was wrong in a lot of things. Like, I was wrong a lot. Initially, I thought I knew everything. No, I didn't know everything. Along the way, about 2 years ago, I ended up getting certified as a personal trainer. Now, that doesn't mean dick, really. Just because you have a piece of paper that says your name on it and I'm a certified personal trainer doesn't mean anything. The vast majority of what I read in that textbook that they gave me, the NASM textbook, is not applicable to the real world. Most of my training knowledge and most of my knowledge base is from training people live, training people online, and training myself. Okay? A piece of paper with my name on it doesn't mean anything. I can actually train people without that piece of paper. Dude, fuck that. I spent money on that shit. I spent like $900 on that shit. What the hell? And I didn't even need it. Technically, I need it for ethical issues. God damn it, bureaucracy. So, damn, am I rambling? You know. Now, going back to when I said screw it, I was around 192 pounds. So, that was a good base weight, base starting weight. Now, I went from 192, it took me about 6 to 7 months, 192 to, I'm about to do math, 192 to 215, so that's around 23 pounds. Did I get that? Yeah, I got it! So, now, 215 is not my now. This was actually a couple months ago, mainly because I don't like taking progress pictures. You know why? Because I'm not vain or I'm not a narcissist. You know what? Bullshit. Just like everybody else, if you lift weights, you do this shit too. You'll be in public, you'll be like near a mirror, you'll walk by a window and you'll stop and be like, check yourself out, you know, biceps, make sure nobody's looking, lift your shirt. We all do it. You know who you are. Don't bullshit me. Don't play games with me. You know you do that shit too. So this was from a couple months ago. So I gained around 23 pounds in 7 to 8 months, and in my opinion, that's a good rate. Just like you should lose weight, you should do it slowly. Remember, it's not a race. And when you want to gain weight or gain muscle, do it slowly. Don't go on these 5,000 calorie bulking cycles and shit. Slowly but gradually gain weight. So like when you lose weight around a pound and a half to 2 pounds per week. When you want to gain weight, around a pound to half a pound per week. Or if you want to do extra slow or extra cautious, do around a pound per month. That's fine. You're gonna gain muscle and gain weight regardless. So at 215, I call this final form. Well, it's not final, but fourth form acceptable Mario.